All right, y'all, what's good? It's your boy Germ Juice. Quick story time, real quick. I'm gonna talk about the Zaytoven Producer Camp I went to back in 2016 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, first of all, man, how y'all doing? I know it's been a minute. Man, I've been working, y'all. I'm about to leave this job. I'm finna move. I'm about to move to Atlanta, bro, because need some more plays, man. Definitely need some more plays, but I'll get to that in another video. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about that time I went to Zaytoven's Producer Camp in 2016. I met Zaytoven, Cassius Jay, Honorable C-Note, and a bunch of other people. Overall, it was a pretty cool event. Yeah, I think it was like $200, $250, something like that, to register, to sign up or whatever. And I remember at the time, I didn't really have a job. I was fresh out of college. I had just dropped out, to be honest. I ain't had no bread, no nothing. I had prayed to God that look, God, if I get, cause I got denied financial aid for some reason. I prayed to God my last semester in college. I was like, look, if I don't get financial aid this next semester, then I'ma just focus fully on producing. Now, of course, I was going to get a job. Of course, I was going to make money. You feel me? But instead of college, I'll just pray to God that look, man, if this don't really work out for me, then I'm gonna just go full force with the music. I'm gonna just start my producing career. And so that was beginning of 2016 is when I really first started locking in on the producer tip. So in February, they had this thing called CIAA, which used to be lit for the city. You know what I'm saying? They used to come to Charlotte every year. And it's pretty much just like a basketball tournament for the HBCUs. So they would come pack out the epicenter. There'll be a whole bunch of events, a whole lot of celebrities come through the city, man. It used to be fire, lit. Day parties, night parties, all type of just vibes, you feel me? And this year, 2016, Zaytoven decided to do a producer camp in Charlotte during CIAA. So I'm like, all right, bet. Shoot, Zaytoven, this the first time he ever did anything like that. I'm like, yo, I gotta pull up for sure. And I remember asking my mom if she can go half with me on the ticket. She went half with me. And yeah, so the ticket was $250. I'm like, cool. At this time, I'm making beats. I'm like, yo, I finally get to play some beats with Zaytoven. Hopefully we get to collab or whatever. I'm just so looking forward to it. I'm so optimistic and I'm kind of excited but a little nervous, a lot of emotions going on. But I get to the camp at a studio that's probably 5 minutes from me on the east side. And I'll pull up a little bit early and it's mad people out there. A whole bunch of cars, yo, it's just a mess, right? I get to the door, they look for my name or whatever. I already paid, they see my register or whatever. They see my name on the list. And I go in, everybody brought their laptops, everybody got their beats. At this time, when I first got there, it was probably about 5, 6 producers there. I sit down and I'm talking to this one dude. He had a Supreme headband, and he had the hair y'all ever played Snowboard Kids for my millennials? Y'all played Snowboard Kids on the Nintendo 64? Bro, with the spiky hair, that's the type of vibe he had. That's you feel me? That's the hairstyle he had. Me and him, we get to chopping it up. And he was super cool. His name was Bone the producer, And me and Bone, we still cool to this day. That's one of my dogs. So I'm super glad I was able to meet him there. But yeah, we sitting there, we chilling, we chopping it up, Everybody just kind of mingling, networking, and then it's just I see, bro, it got to be about 30, 40 producers that come in there, right? And I'm thinking to myself now, ain't no way all these producers paid, bro, because I paid $250 and they told me I was the last ticket. You know what I'm saying? I got it right there at the end, probably 2 days before the event. That's when I got my ticket. They said it was sold out. So I'm looking at all these producers coming in, me and Bone, we looking at each other like, yo, what's going on? Like, I know all these producers, he thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Like, I know all these producers ain't paid. Ain't no way. Come to find out, they didn't pay. You feel me? It's mad producers coming in, they're just off a handshake. They just walking in there. They know there's a producer here in Charlotte, his name is K-Figs. There's a lot of producers who just knew K-Figs, who was just walking in. You feel me? Who just knew Kim Woo, she helped run the studio, who just knew Kim walking in. So I'm mad, I'm like, yo, I ain't even had the bread. I had to ask my mama for the bread to get in here, and I'm like, damn, you telling me I could've got in for free? That's crazy. You know, totally disrespectful, but whatever. Zaytoven ended up pulling up a little bit late, probably like an hour late, you know. And then as time goes on, Cassius Jay comes in. For those of you who don't know who Cassius Jay is, Cassius Jay produced Make Something Shake. He produced for Rich the Kid. He done produced for Roddy Ricch, some of everybody. Cassius Jay 5. At this time, he's starting to heat up. You know what I'm saying? He just started like to catch his run, you feel me? So he walking there. And it started off with Zaytoven doing like, you know, just talking about him and his life and what he's done and, you know, what it takes to be successful. I think at the time he had dropped a book called From A to Z, which I think he ended up selling it at the producer camp, and I got a copy. You know, I'm pretty sure it's at my mom's house, but I got a copy of that book. You know, Zaytoven, let me say this, bro. Zaytoven is a solid man of God, super humble, super talented. You feel me? He wasn't arrogant at all. He was really trying to give gems. He was really giving us game of just not only how to make beats, but how to move in the industry. You know, for all my other producers, Zaytoven said, you know, he's been independent this whole time. I mean, he never took in a publishing deal, admin deal, none of that. So all the money that he makes, he's getting it directly to him. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Zaytoven, just period, just by being a self-made man, outside of just being a producer. But yeah, so, you know, the whole time Zaytoven giving us game, it's a room full of producers. And yeah, he was doing most of the talking. His brother was there. I think like his manager at the time was there. I think his name was like Humble or something like that. And yeah, then Honorable C-Note walk in. So when Honorable C-Note walks in, Zaytoven gets to the other part of the camp, which is, you know, everybody gets an opportunity to play their beats for Zay. He do beat critiques and, you know, networking and whatnot. So we get down to the basement part of the studio. Zaytoven started cooking up, and he made a beat within like 10 minutes. That's the fastest I ever seen anybody make a beat. You know, and I remember at the time just thinking like, yo, this nigga is cold. Like you know how Zaytoven do? He get on the keys first, or no, he do the drums first, and then he'll add the keys, and then, you know what I'm saying? He got this streamlined process, and I remember thinking like, yo, I can't wait till I get to that type of level, man, because he going crazy right now. Like, at this time, I've probably been making beats consistently for probably about like 2 years, and I'm probably finishing about 2 to 3 beats a day. Somebody asked him at the end of the camp, like, yo, like, how many beats you make a day? He said, shoot, I make about 8 to 10. So I'm like, who making 8 to 10? Ain't no way. You see what I'm saying? But then after seeing him cook up, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. He's done it so much that it got easy to him. Streamlined. Boom, 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 boom. He not overthinking nothing. He know what his sounds are. He's very organized and structured. He just got his flow just working for him. So I'm like, okay. Just seeing him cook up in person, I learned a lot. He only made about like 1 or 2 beats. But just watching him cook up, like, I realized like, oh, okay. It's not that hard. Don't overcomplicate it. You know what I'm saying? Thank God I got some skills on the keys too. You know, if you seen my Zaytoven video that I kind of implemented, you know, that I recreated, it's like, that's why I was able to do that so well, because I saw Zaytoven cook up in my own eyes. I'm like, oh, okay. He not, you know, what he's doing is amazing. But as a musician, it's not crazy, it's just creative, you know? So Zaytoven get to cooking up in front of us. And yeah, he going crazy. Everybody going crazy. It then gets to the part where everybody gets to play their beats. Now, remember I told you, there's about 40 producers in here. About 30 of them sounded just like Zaytoven. And I'm like, I remember thinking at the time, like, why would y'all come in playing Zaytoven type beats for Zaytoven when he makes those type beats? Like, why don't y'all like make anything else other than just Zaytoven type beats? And then it dawned on me. That's when I realized, like, yo, as a producer, you gotta have your own identity. You can't be sitting here making beats like other producers. I mean, yeah, you can emulate them, you feel me? You can grab like bits and pieces from them. You can get some sauce and tips and tricks from them, but making full beats just like your favorite producer, nah, that's not the way, my boy. That's not it. It's not it. And part of Zaytoven's entourage, of course, they was like gassing the other producers up because, you know, they amateurs. You know, we're all amateurs at this point. Ain't nobody getting no plaques, you feel me? So, you know, the ceiling kind of low a little bit. So, like, his entourage was kind of gassing everybody up. You know, there was some people in there with some smoke, but they all sounded like Zaytoven. And it's like, when you try to replicate a sound that another producer has already perfected, you're never going to get it right. I don't care what anybody says. It's just like, if you're going to like be inspired, then you have to find a way to amplify that sound, not just recreate it. And that's what a lot of those producers were doing. They were spamming the little the little chant he was doing at the time, and the little shaker perk, and that whole bounce. I'm like, y'all, that sound belongs to Zaytoven. Let that man rock. Let him eat. You feel me? And so, a lot of those producers, and guess what? A lot of those producers was producers who didn't pay. You feel me? They didn't even pay. So I'm like, bro, what is y'all doing here? Like, y'all just in the way, for real. That's how I feel. Look, this is my video. I'm telling y'all how I feel. I'm like, bro, you can't skip the line when it comes to this. Like, you gotta pay to play. You feel me? You gotta be big dog. You feel me? And that's not being big dog. You know, anyway, everybody playing their beats. My boy Bone play his beats. Fire. If you ask Bone today, he said he was in his like Travis Scott era. You know, amazing. Played one of the best beats there. There was another kid there named Josiah. He was 15 at the time. He did like a little Bryson Tiller sample. Sound like a Drake beat. He was probably the hardest producer there. So I don't know if you watching this, Josiah, if you was at that producer camp in 2016, please reach out. We gotta connect. Hopefully you still cooking. Hopefully you got some plats or whatever, and you're not like working at McDonald's or nothing, because boy, you was cold. But everybody else there was just like some mid. Now when I get up there, I play my beat, right? I play it like, because everybody else was playing Zaytoven type shit, I'm like, look, I'm gonna take a different approach. I don't even make Zaytoven type beats. I always made my type beats. I always make Jeremy's type beats. Like, I never make like whatever. And so I'll try the different approach. I was like, I'm gonna play like some R&B shit, just because ain't nobody playing no R&B beats yet. So I think I had sampled like a Janet Jackson song, and I played it for him. And it was kind of slow. The intro was a little too long, you know. And then at the end of it, Zaytoven was like, yo, yeah, I cut that intro down a little bit. And yeah, work on my mix. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll take it. You feel me? You know, I appreciate that. Coming from Zaytoven, yeah, for sure, I'll take it, for sure. You know, and then, yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it, you know. After that, I got to, you know, chop it over everybody. I met Honorable C Note. I met Cassius Jay. I met Zaytoven, of course. Took pictures. Yeah, and it was a good experience, and I learned a lot, you know. I learned, for one, that as a producer, you got to have your own sound. Two, you can't be afraid to network and do what you got to do as a producer. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is, one thing Zaytoven was saying was, you can't be in the crib all the time. Like, you got to be outside. You got to move around. You know what I'm saying? You gotta see what's moving the culture. You gotta be in these places. You gotta feel the vibe so that you're current or even ahead of the time that's going on. So when you're creating music, it's fresh and it's new. You're not making nothing lame or like outdated. So that was another thing that I learned from the producer camp. Be confident, you know. Study the game. Be a student. Always be a student. Always learn. And network with everybody. Because you never know who might lead you to your next, opportunity. Or who might be coming up behind you. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. So, yeah, man, it was a good time. It was a good time for sure. For sure. And I will say, now I don't know what happened to those other producers, but I do know for a fact that because me and Bone paid, something about us paying for our ticket and I'm paying for our slot, like, we still going. And I made that back to probably a little over 100,000 times. You feel me? Like, that little 250 wasn't nothing. You feel me? And shout out to my mom for helping me out with it, because I ain't even had a bread at the time. You know what I'm saying? So it really worked out. And I wish I did this video with Bone, because Bone get money too from the producers joint. But yeah, man, that's another thing that I say that's very important. That's very key for producers. It's just, man, make sure you put that bread up. Invest as much as you can. Those of us who are successful in the game, man, we done went broke doing this. Now, that don't mean to be foolish. You want to be as financially sound as you can be, but you gotta put some type of bread up. Don't cheap out when it comes to this. If you want this to take care of you, to change your life, you gotta put your all into it. And don't be afraid to network. Get outside, move around, go where the vibes at, and yeah. So if you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that. And I want you to know, man, what questions y'all got for me? You know what I'm saying? Come to the Zaytoven Camp, life, whatever, man. Ask whatever you want to ask, man. I'm answering all questions, bro. I'm not tripping. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to make more content, you feel me? I've been super busy, but it's time to get back on that grind, So, yeah, man, I appreciate y'all. And see you next time. Have a good one.